Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. Today is April the 20th, 2018, and we're going to be starting some cucumber seeds indoors today. Now, I don't know how many of these I'm going to get planted. I have 4 different varieties. These are all new varieties for me. I've never tried them before. Normally, I was growing the straight 8s, but we've been having issues for like the last 2 years when we start them outside. They're not giving, the plants are just dying right away. We were having an issue with that anthracnose, and that can actually be on the seeds. The seeds can be contaminated with that particular blight. So we're going to be doing some things today to try and prevent that from happening. Now this one here, this is a new cucumber. It's a gateway hybrid. It's actually supposed to be resistant to anthracnose, so that was a big plus for me. So I'm going to be trialing this one out this year. It's a cucumber gateway hybrid. And then we have a tender green burpless cucumber. This one here, it's at 55 days. It's supposed to be free from bitterness, which that's a good thing, because we were having issues with the straight 8s getting bitter. And that can come from and then they don't get enough water, or like when you hit a drought, they'll get bitter on you. So, and this one also tolerates cool soil, it's supposed to, and excessive moisture. So because I'm in Pennsylvania, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this one a try, because we do get cooler soils. Sometimes we still get low temperatures even in July, and this year, you know, we're having snow one day, 80 degrees the next. It's kind of really weird. So I'm definitely excited to try this one here. These two here, I've never tried these before. This is an early spring burpless hybrid. This is a 52-day one. The tender green was a 55-day one. It's supposed to produce bitter-free fruits with excellent burpless eating quality. So it's easier to digest, and it's supposed to have thin, bitter-free skins. So you shouldn't have to peel it. That's what they're saying on the pack. I've never tried it before. And this is a Market More 76. So this is 68 days to harvest. This one here, it's supposed to be really good for slicing. It's supposed to produce heavy early crops of long cucumbers. You can pickle them, or you can pick them like when they're young. And it's supposed to be resistant to downy mildew diseases. That's pretty good too. Another thing, this one is supposed to resist other types of blights and diseases. I'm not 100% sure right now on which ones all of those are. But we're going to give these a try here. Now, we are going to be planting them in newspaper pots. And these are little biodegradable pots. They're made out of newspaper, so we recycle it. I will be showing you how to make them and how I make them. So we'll be right back. Okay, so what I did is I filled this container with a neem oil solution. And how I mixed this, I took Garden Safe neem oil, and I took 1 teaspoon and mixed it with 1 liter of water. And I put it in this container here. You want to make sure that you use warm water when you put your neem oil solution in it, and you want to shake it really good so it'll get it all mixed up. So I'm going to get some cucumber seeds out here. I'm going to be planting the tender green one first, and this is what cucumber seeds look like here. So let me see here. I'm going to put some in here. I'm going to do about 12 of these. And I don't know if I'm going to get all these planted tonight because it is kind of late, so I might have to do some tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these sit in this mixture for maybe about 5 minutes. I am going to stir them around here. Hold on a moment. Let me get my stir. And I'm going to stir these around in here to make sure that neem oil solution gets on these seeds. Now, this should help to prevent that anthracnose. And if anything would be on the seeds, it should kill them. It's working really well using This neem oil solution, I used it on my basil seeds for downy basil mildew, and it seems to really be working. So we'll see. When these are done soaking, I'll come back, and you want to kind of make sure you know that it's nice and coated on them. I'll come back and I'll show you how to make the newspaper pots, and I will also show you then how to plant the seeds. Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to show you how to make newspaper pots. Now, my seeds are still soaking, so I already have a piece of newspaper right here. This is going to be my template because it's already cut to size, and this is my newspaper pot maker. And this was gifted to me by a very dear friend, and it's been used a lot. We probably make, I'd say at the very least, like 80 newspaper pots a year to use. So I have my template here. I'm just going to lay it down against my regular newspaper, and I'm going to cut across here. There we go. Cutting the whole way across here. And this is a good way to recycle your newspaper, and it's biodegradable. You just don't want to use the shiny stuff because that it's just not good to use the shiny stuff. This right here, it's no big deal. Most of your ink's made out of the vegetable ink, so we're just going to cut this across here. Sorry about that. So I can get my sheets here. Okay. And, whoops, I missed one there. Take that one across. I use these for planting zinnias in. I use them a lot in my outdoor sowing methods. Like when I take clear milk jugs and turn them into little greenhouses, I'll use these then to plant my seeds in, and I'll just transplant them when they're ready to be transplanted. So you just roll this around, just wrap it around this thing. You fold the bottoms in, fold them over. Take your bottom for this, just push it down, and you move it back and forth. Just twist it back and forth, and you slide this off, and that's how you make your newspaper pots. You can double this if you want, like you can put 2 pieces of paper around them to make them a little bit more sturdier, but I've been using these for years. They seem to work very well. I get rid of the transplant shock. I will leave a link below for one of these. I'm not 100% sure where this one was gotten at because it was gifted to me, but if I can't find this one, I'll try and find one similar to it, and I'll leave a link down below for you. Now you could also plant these in like your Jiffy peat pellets. I recommend using like the larger peat pellets. I'll put a thing down below for those as well. They really don't like to be transplanted, your cucumbers, so that's why we're using containers that will biodegrade on their own, because you can just plant this whole thing and the roots will come out the side, they'll come out the bottom, and it'll work just fine. So that's how I make my newspaper pots. And now on to plant our seeds. Okay, so I'm back, and I filled my tub here with my Jiffy organic, natural and organic seed starting mix. And I'm just kind of breaking up any larger pieces that might be here. And I have my warm water here. You definitely want to use warm water when you mix this stuff, because it just mixes so much nicer. Now you want your mix to be moist. You don't want it to be soupy. You don't want like water running out of it or a lot of extra water in there. So just going to mix this up here. Go. Here. Okay, there we go. That's a nice consistency there. Okay, so we're going to take my newspaper pots here, and we have a bunch of them. I had my mom making me a bunch, so we got like 2 bins full over here. And I'm just going to put the seed starting mix in here, and I'm just going to pack it in. Go. There's one. So I'm going to fill the rest of these, and I'll come back and then we'll plant the seeds. Okay, so I'm back. I got all these filled here. Now we're going to start planting our seeds. And they're still soaking here in this solution. I'm kind of stirring them around here some. They did soak longer than 5 minutes, but that's okay. And I'm just going to scoop these out here. Oops, let me go get a spoon, because that's not going to work. Okay, I got my little plastic spoon here. This is going to work so much better. And here we go. So there's one of our cucumber seeds right there. And I'm just going to take it and put it right on top of the soil. And I'm going to do this the whole way through here. And cucumbers, I love homemade pickles. And with that anthracnose continuously hitting ours, and we were having issues with different mildews and stuff, we weren't really getting that many to even make pickles out of, or to even eat them fresh. And I love fresh cucumbers too. You take them and you can slice them up, and you can eat them like in a little salad with like tomatoes cut up, and maybe a little purple onion, like one of the Wethersfield onions. It'll come out of there. And add like a little dressing if you wanted, maybe some croutons and some cheese, and that would just be a really good salad, in my opinion. And we are going to take some extra precautions just to make sure that we get a good harvest, because we're going to do everything that we can this year to try and get a good harvest from these. I'm not one to get my hands in like neem oil and different stuff, so that's why a lot of times I wear like gloves, or I pick stuff out with like a spoon or something else. We have all these planted, and let me get my seed starting mix and we'll be right back. Okay, now these are supposed to go about like a 1/2 inch deep, so I'm just pushing these seeds in here to make sure that they get good contact with the soil, because that'll give you a better root system, because they'll be able to take off quicker. So we definitely want to make sure that, you know, the seed has good contact with the soil. And what we're actually going to do is we're just going to cover these then. We're going to take the same soil and just cover over top of them from the peat pellets, or, yeah, right, from the soil that I put in the newspaper pots. You can tell what I'm used to mostly using. And cucumbers don't like to be transplanted, so I really don't recommend planting them in plastic containers and then trying to transplant them. I recommend something that is biodegradable if you're going to start them early. So we're just going to cover these here up. There we go. And these need, there's a little discrepancy on them. Some say 70 to 75 degrees. I did read one where it said 80. That's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for the 80 degrees for germination. I'm going to be putting these in one of my grow boxes. If you don't have like a grow box, then I would recommend like a bottom heat, like a germination mat. I would recommend one of those, because that'll help keep you a consistent temperature. and that should help your seeds to germinate more evenly. It should help them to germinate better. That could be part of the reason what we ran into. Maybe our soil wasn't quite up to the temperature that it needed to be, which is very well possible, but I know a lot of it had to do with the diseases. So hopefully we can ward it off this year and get a nice cucumber harvest. So we got these planted here, and now we're going to take our neem oil solution, and I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to pour it over top. Whoops, that seed came out. Hold on a minute here. If your seed comes out, cover it back up. And these should germinate within 7 to 14 days. They could possibly germinate sooner. They might take a little bit longer. It kind of depends. There's not really a... if you don't reach the temperature that you need, it could take them a little bit longer. I did have my seeds pre-chilled before I sowed them. I had them in the refrigerator in their packs and Ziploc bags. That also helps my seeds to stay fresh longer. So I'm going to continue to go the whole way through here. I'm going to have to get some more neem oil solution. And I will finish these out and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back and I got all of these treated here. Now my next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting these in an enclosed little like greenhouse thing with a lid on top. And that's going to help keep the humidity and the heat in for us as these germinate. So, and another thing, you definitely want to label them. So I'm putting these in here. Go. There we go. And as soon as these start coming up, I'll come back with another video and I'll show you what to do next with them. And I will plant the other ones tomorrow. I'm not going to get to plant them tonight. But I'm really excited about these varieties that I'm trialing out this year. I hope they do really well for me. And hope to show you what they look like. Now one thing, anthracnose, sorry about that, is it can be on the seeds when you get them. I actually had that happen one year, and I had them growing indoors. I had cucumbers actually hanging on them indoors, and it had that on them, and the plants, the leaves started turning yellow. They started getting spots in the leaves. It was really bad. I actually destroyed the whole pack of seeds because I didn't even know anything about neem oil at the time, and it was just a disastrous mess. And we had some aphids that got on them after they had it, and they spread that stuff like crazy, and it was a pretty big mess that year. I won't mention the company or anything like that it happened with, but it was just a mess. So we're definitely going to be watching these cucumber seedlings when they come up. We're going to be watching them for yellow spots in the leaves. We're going to be watching them for deformed growth. We're going to be watching them for like orangish spots in the leaves, issues with the stems. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on everything this year. So that's how I plant my cucumber seeds. I'm going to put the lid on them here, and I'm going to be taking them over. I do still have to label them. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave them below, and I'll try and answer them for you. Please don't forget to hit that little notification button. I'll tell you when I put a new video on. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.